Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Swish Life Garage. I know it's been a while since I've been behind the camera, but that's because my previous camera had broke. The previous camera I was using was a Panasonic G7, and I sold that one for parts on my eBay page. If you guys aren't following my eBay, check the description down below. I have a link to my page. I just post any personal items I don't need or any additional car parts that I don't need. But like I was saying, I was recording with a Panasonic G7, and so now I'm currently recording with the Sony ZV-1F. So now I'm finally able to start recording the work I'm doing on the cars. Honestly, when the camera broke, I just stopped working on cars because I like to document everything for myself, but for you guys as well, because I know there's someone out there that needs a video to reference or something they're trying to learn to do onto their car, or just learn about something on their car. So last I left off was buying the 2000 Honda Civic EX sedan. So the Civic is currently my daily driver. Some things have been breaking down on it, and I have worked on it a little bit, but we'll go over that, just give you a quick update on the Civic, and then there's something I want to go ahead and fix on this. Alright guys, so here's the Civic. I honestly haven't even washed it. I bought it and still have never washed it. Some things that are going wrong on it is the brakes are definitely going out. They're metal to metal, at least on that passenger side. So I need to get that fixed. I probably put about 10,000 miles since I last recorded this car. And now actually the other night, the timing belt just had snapped on me. So I did change the timing belt out with a Duralast belt from AutoZone. But here's the belt that broke. And then with it breaking, it did break the crank sensor. But I did grab the crank sensor from the Del Sol and just using that one. And then I did swap out the alternator belt. Just took off the AC belt since it currently doesn't have AC. And use that alternator belt from the Del Sol as well. Here's the AC pulley. The pulley itself is, the bearings are bad on it, so that's the reason why I took it off. Now there was a bolt that was holding on the pulley, at least the bracket I had to cut off because it was just really stripped. And then as well the nut that was holding on the pulley there, had to get some vice grips tied on there and just get it off. It was completely stripped as well. So new timing belt, and I feel very confident in this car now with the new belt, so it's going to last many miles. Now the other thing that I did do to it is I ripped out the whole interior. Probably put some pictures up on there. So I cleaned it out, cleaned up the seats, took out the dash, scrubbed everything real nice. Still have yet to do the door panels and the seat belts, but everything else is completely clean. That's just because, you know, I was driving it. I didn't want to have people in here and it be very nasty. It was real nasty, man. I mean, I didn't even want to put my phone anywhere or touch anything, but now very clean. Scrubbed everything on up with a toothbrush, and so no issues with that. And just the back seats, the floor is clean. I did also take out the sunroof, cleaned out the sunroof tray itself, and made sure the drains for it were completely clear. The front ones that run in the A-pillars there, the tubes themselves were short about 1.5 inches, so all the water was just coming on into the footwell, front footwell area of the driver and passenger. So I did purchase some new tubes and have them going out to the drain. So that's good. It still has a little bit of a water leak, which that'll be another video on how I fix that. It's still at the footwell, but it's not coming from the sunroof any longer. And then the trunk here, it's still gutted because it still leaks a little bit of water, but it's coming from over here on the top side. More than likely that's going to be coming from the sealant here, from the panels overlapping each other. A lot of times it just gets dry and cracked, and then it starts to let water in. Right there where those panels meet, if you guys could see, that's basically where it's coming from. Now the other thing that happened is, firstly, I had found out that the muffler was not even welded on. It was just basically a pipe and another pipe. So I ripped off the muffler. Then a few days later, the pipe that sits out here by the lower control arm just started making a lot of noise. So basically the pipe was just falling off. I just bent it back and forth and broke it. Pipe was then about where the rear doors are at in the back by the seats. And then after that, maybe a month later, I hear the exhaust making a lot of noise, get real loud, and basically the cat and the rest of the pipe was just hanging underneath the car. It just broke off. And so if you guys can see, I just been running the car with the open header with the downpipe, and so it's pretty loud, a little bit annoying, but that's something I'm gonna have to fix. Now the car has just been running open header. Here's the muffler. Like I said, it was never welded on there, so I ripped off the muffler. Then just that pipe was there. That pipe got real loose. I broke that off, and then it broke off about over here. You can see it's just splitting with rust. And so here was the rest of the pipe after I broke it off. It was holding on there for a little bit, then randomly just decided to break off. And the only thing holding it up was the O2 sensor plug. So I ripped that off and stuck it in the back of my trunk. And so that's how we are now. Here in the engine bay, I did change out the clutch slave cylinder just because I didn't want that to just explode on me and then I don't have a way to get home. I also changed out the O-ring for the distributor. It was leaking quite a bit, so changed that on out. I did notice the master cylinder for the clutch is leaking. If you can't see, it's a little bit wet there, and it's just losing fluid within probably about 2 weeks or so. And on the inside of the car, you could see it's been leaking, so gonna have to change that out pretty soon. That's it as far as for updates on the Civic. The other thing I wanted to do for this video, since my exhaust fell off with the catalytic converter, it does have the O2 sensor on there, so I am having a check engine light because of that. So I'm going to try to take that downpipe off of the header and just at least add this little section so I could have my O2 sensor. First thing I'm going to do is cut the pipe at least right here. And then next going to be taking off the downpipe from the header, and so we could start to see on how everything's going to line up. Alright, so now the car is jacked up. I did already unplug the O2 sensor. There's the plug right there. I'm gonna have to take off these two, I think they're 12s or 14s, holding on to that bracket. Probably the hardest part is taking off these nuts onto the header. Gotta take off this one right here, one on the front, and one on that other side. I'm gonna go ahead and spray them with some WD-40. Probably wait about 10 or 15 minutes before I hit them. Usually there's like a fitting that would connect the catalytic converter, but they just cut that off and just welded on the pipe. So it would have been easier if they just left the fitting on there, but it's all good. I'm gonna need to just weld up that second O2 and be catless. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to take this downpipe off. I was able to loosen up that nut right there. That bolt right there is stripped, and then if you guys could see right there, I broke the other one trying to take it off. So without creating further issues and making more of a problem, I'm gonna have to just weld it onto here. I have to cut this pipe under here and then weld up that one fitting like I told you guys. Alright, so after a little bit of cutting here, it's actually like 2 pipes in one. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I had to cut this off because I was trying to slide the pipe out. This is what I have. O2 sensor, just a straight little pipe there. I want to weld this side to the header and just have it sideways like that, and this would be the exhaust basically, just to have that secondary O2. I did clean up some of that rust, so hopefully get a pretty good weld. It doesn't have to be the best, you know, this is just some trash pieces, just try and get that check engine light off. And then on the header here, on the downpipe, I just got some bare metal, get some contact there for a good weld. I just need to unplug the battery terminal and get the welder over here and just try to MIG it on up. Alright, MIG welder ready to go. Got the exhaust pipe. I'm going to ground to the exhaust pipe and just match it up to the header. Just try to get a tack weld on there at least and start from there. Alright guys, so here it is welded up. It's not the prettiest looking thing, but it's better than the welds that are already on here, honestly. I think I was able to get all the way on top. I don't want to touch it because it's still hot. Had to cover up some of the holes there that you might see. But, I mean, there it is, man. There's the O2, already plugged it on in. Put the bolts on that I previously took off since I'm not able to take off this little downpipe, and plugged up the first O2 there. So time to give it a start on up. Shouldn't have any check engine lights now. Alright, so start it on up. No check engine lights. So there we go, man. Let me go ahead and take it off the jacks and give it a quick test drive. Alright guys, so the exhaust is welded up with the O2 sensor. Now we have no cat, no muffler, no resonator, so it is a bit loud. It's not too much for me at least, but of course, you know, if you got them boys behind you, just try to keep it low RPMs and not try to give them an issue to go ahead and get you, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, everything is all good. Got rid of the check engine light. The check engine light does still come on after driving it for a little bit because I guess it's reading that it's dirty without the cat. So now the car feels back to its full potential. Before, without the sensor, is probably feeling about maybe 80%. And then along with the new timing belt, everything is just firing how it should. So the car is feeling good. It's feeling great, honestly. And I'm satisfied with it. I'm going to leave the exhaust like that until I could get a proper exhaust, proper header and stuff like that for it. But man, hopefully you guys are excited that I'm back on YouTube, back recording, and back just trying to put information out there for you guys. So make sure you are subscribed and like the videos if they were any benefit to you, and comment down below if you have any questions. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'm gonna have to catch you in the next one, man.